What is going on, everybody? My name is SplitsandTV, and I'm here with Phil. I'm going to link his YouTube channel in the description. And we decided we were just going to sit down and talk about our thoughts about ESO and make it a little series, basically called Thoughts on ESO. This is going to be episode 1. And we just want to talk about a couple of things that we've really been thinking about and thought you guys would like to hear about. So, Phil, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, obviously, welcome guys who follow me. I'm Phil Dragon King, is my channel, and basically I've been playing Elder Scrolls since the beta. I started very heavily on the pre-release, the 5-day early release, and I've been playing a hell of a lot of Elder Scrolls in the past, Skyrim-wise, Oblivion-wise, all the way till ESO's come out, and I've been playing it every day since. So I've had quite a good amount of experience with this game so far, but I'd really like to hear Splitsand's experiences so far with the game first.
You can call me Chad. You don't have to call me.
Okay, Chad.
Splitsand. Yeah.
Splitsand.
we can be formal here, but yeah, we were talking a couple minutes ago when we were setting up the video about one of the things that has annoyed me the most, especially because I'm not really experienced with MMOs, as I'm trying to fight these retards here. But anyway, was the crowd. I'm gonna die.
Yeah, fucking tell me about it. So you need the some add-ons to tell you how shit your armor's all lasted.
I'm horrible, but you know, we were talking about the crafting and how much of a grind it is and how ridiculous I think it is to actually have to wait sometimes 7 or 15 days to research an item. And I thought that like an easy fix to that would be just to reduce the research time to like the most you could do it is 2 days, because I think it's kind of like cheeky on their part to make a research time 15 days when that's half of a subscription fee. So I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm just going to go on to my Templar to show some of these, but the crafting is very straightforward. I very much like the crafting because it's very simple. It doesn't take much to think about what you're doing. It's just very time taking, especially with the Craglorn expansion. You now get 8 trait armors, and I'm pretty sure it's just 6 trait before that, but now you get your 8 traits. And to be able to get one piece of gear with an 8 trait, it takes you the best part of like 33 days plus. No, actually, my bad. To get the 7 traits, it takes 12 days. To get the 8 trait, it takes 25 days. So it'll take you about 40 days to get one piece of gear at 8 traits, let alone the other ridiculous. Yeah, let alone the other pieces of gear to try and get the whole matching set to actually make it viable for the actual trait use. So, but you are correct. It is beyond ridiculous.
And I really do like the way that the crafting is set up in this game. It's really Skyrim-esque, if you ask me, which is kind of like my bread and butter. But I think that they tried to make it too balanced as far as the research time goes, because like we were saying yesterday, they didn't want people like day one to have every single trait, obviously. So if you just find a trait that you haven't had, you deconstruct it, you get it. Obviously we don't want that, because people will be running around at like level 10 with beast armor, and that's just you don't want that. But I really feel like they kind of overdid it, and I think that they're gonna take it down over time. Because they're just gonna have to, because it kind of discourages players like me, new players to an MMO, who mainly came over because I really just loved Skyrim, and I played a bit of Oblivion, but I'm kind of a noob when it comes to RPGs. In what's it called? Who makes this game?
Oh god, ZeniMax.
Elder Scrolls. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm new to the Elder Scrolls series, and I pretty much started on Skyrim, and I played the hell out of that. I probably had like 200 hours in that game. So the reason I bought this game and how many other people bought this game is because they loved that game. And I feel like they tried to make it as similar as they could, because from past MMOs that I've even tried to play, and I've never been a huge MMO guy, this is completely different in a lot of ways. And I really like that. But I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just me being too nitpicky about not wanting to grind. But I feel like that one area, if I could really complain about, is just the research time it takes, because I don't know, it gets really annoying, the fact that it's going to take 15 days to do one research item. Here, actually, I have a sword right now that I've been holding off, or am I researching it? Yeah, no, I've been holding it off because it takes 7 days, and I'm gonna do it right. Oh, I have 2 swords I can do. Yeah, that's just.
I was gonna say, I think they've done, like, in terms of like the variation of armor, they've done a fantastic job with the getting everyone's racial armor to look very different with the light, medium. I'm very happy they brought back the medium, because if you forgot, there was only light and heavy in Skyrim, and in Oblivion there's light, medium, and heavy. So it's a good thing they brought back the extra class of armor. So hopefully, like the TES 6 game will have the medium style as well, because that just brings out a whole different play. But I do think, hey, go on.
Oh no, I was gonna say, but in Skyrim you could wear robes. There was 2 categories. It was heavy and light.
Yeah.
But light, you could wear actual light armor, which is like the medium armor in this, or you could wear the robes.
Aye, but so but it was still just classed as light. No, the robes didn't have anything on them. It weren't classed as anything. It was just classed as cloth. It was just light and heavy, and then cloth just had no actual armor protection. It just had like magic enchantments on it to give it like a resistance against this or that. So it never had its own sort of class. It just had light, which was all your stealthy stuff, and then heavy, which was obviously your heavy. So that's why it only had 2 classes, and like a non-named class, which was like cloth. But I do think things are a bit of hassle, because if you're trying to get your light armor and medium armor all good in this, it takes a lot of effort. Like heavy armor, it's only got the heavy armor things on the anvil. It's just got that. But in the medium and light, it's got all your armor, which then you've got to get all that shit traded up. And because you've only got three out of 3 things you can research, it becomes a lot of hassle. But again, they've got a huge variation of armor. I very much like it's, you know, every like 10 levels, and then you've got to use a different mat to make something else, and 10 levels, so it does help it break up the zone. There's whole different like styles. It sort of changes bit by bit by bit, and I do like the steady progression, going from something all scraggy and crappy and like damaged from your, like when you're using iron ingots, to when you got your ebony and your top end ones, which is shadow ingots or something. I can't remember the name of them for shit.
I'm not even there yet.
Oh yeah. I'm saving up my, hirelings send you mail, right? I've saved, so far I've got like 60, just fucking all saved up. I'm waiting till I've got 100 of them, and then I'm just gonna make a video, like, you know, seeing how much mats I get from all the mails. So I've got fucking hirelings left, right, and centre, just chucking in rare mats. But in the terms of like, compared to the other Elder Scrolls games, but how much variation and how cool the armor looks, yeah, there wasn't many different styles in Skyrim to use. The only good way was from a lot of mods. A lot of mods brought into a lot of good armors, but in general there's only like fucking 8 different armors, and that was kind of it. But at least this, even though it's one style of armor, it keeps getting slightly better, it's looking slightly different, and even when you improve it does change color. So I think they've done it. It is pretty damn cool, but it's just a hassle and a half weight wise to get all the traits that you want to hit a certain level. So you can have a matching set of like fucking the whole piece with all 6 traits, 7 traits, 8 traits. It's fucking like you gotta wait like half a year for it to all be done. Literally, it would be half a year, because you think. You got, what, 7 pieces of armor you're wearing? Let me see. Helmet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. That's 7. And if you got a sword, I'm saying heavy armor, right? Swords in the heavy armor category, that's 8. All of them take like 40 days each to get an 8 trait. So you can only do 3 at a time. You know what I mean? It would take you at least, 4 or 5 months to make sure you've done it perfectly, to get all 8 traits. And that's like, what the fuck, that's beyond. It may even be longer than 4 months solid waiting. So they do need to update that with a patch to be able to do 4 traits, or decrease the time by 30% or something. I was
upset when I purchased the second or the third upgrade, because the first upgrade lets you go from 1 to 2 research items, and then I purchased the second one and it goes 2 to 2. It makes it go from, I think, like 5% to 10% faster. So I was upset that they didn't let you get a third slot. I think that 4 slots per would be reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, 4 slots.
Because you're spending a perk, you're spending a whole skill point on that. You may as well make it as balanced as you can, because as much as you're putting into crafting, you're taking away from your actual character build and making him weaker, which is I mean, it's something that you have to accept if you're going to go into it.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least make it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Because
that's my opinion.
Because I'm hovering over mine because obviously it says once you've done your 3 out of 3, you can research 3 items at 20% this like faster. But even with that, yeah, it's still taking 25 days. So what the fuck? So
it's ridiculous.
it needs to be faster. Just because now obviously you can't be. Yeah, I don't know. You don't even want to make something legendary yet because you're sort of waiting for things to be maxed out. Because I've got a lot of legendary maps, but I've not used a single one because I don't want to waste them because they're fucking not easy to get. Like one bit, and they shouldn't be easy to. I'm happy they're hard to get because that's sort of an economy thing. So at least something's worth something. Because like the gold in this game is like impossible to grind for. Like the only good way of getting gold is by quests and selling your items to vendors or other people. But to farm mobs for gold is fucking beyond impossible. Yeah. You get like one or 2 gold no matter what. Even on vet 10 levels and shit like that, you get like 1 gold per mob drop, and it's like cool. Wow, that's.
It's funny because as you say that, I'm sitting here just destroying mobs.
And that's what you're getting. 100% guarantee it. It's quite.
I just got 1 gold right there. I don't want to brag, but 1 whole gold. So no, but I feel like we started this off in a really negative light as far as the game goes.
It has been a solid dish.
The first conversation we had was like, look, this sucks. Like let's be real here. Like, but in reality, I of course you always point out the bad things first because that's what I'm a little bit salty about, a little bit upset about is that. But as far as the overall experience that I've had with this game so far, I think it's really amazing, and especially to someone new to an MMO who didn't want something crazy like World of Warcraft or even Star Wars. I feel like they did a really good job at something that I find that makes the Elder Scrolls games awesome is immersion, and I like how clean. If you want the interface to be really MMO, you can download a bunch of add-ons, and they let you do that. But if you want, oh cool, I got a treasure map. Huh. But if you want to be super immersed, you can.
I don't even use them anymore. Mode. I just sell them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Fair enough. I always that's one thing I like actually is finding the treasure maps on the actual.
I've got an add-on that shows you exactly where the treasure maps are on the map.
See, that takes the fun.
Yeah.
That takes the fun out of it.
It's hassle because you got to Google it anyway. Like.
No, I have 4 or 5 treasure maps all by myself wandering around.
Really? Fucking, I think I found one. I was like, because I had a collector's edition, so I was able to go for the collector's map each zone. And that was fucking hard work.
Bro, how do you think I have like 2.5 days played and I'm only level 27?
That's not too. Yeah, I think
because I do stupid things like. Well, that's what I like about the game because it lets you do that the way they have it set up. They have it for every type of player, which I don't think most MMOs are. You come here, so you talk to somebody, they want you to go kill 20 sheep, and you get like 50 gold or something like that. Whereas this, I feel like just at a basic level, they succeed in making you feel like you're a part of the Elder Scrolls universe, and that's something that I just really enjoy, and that's what I think made Skyrim so good and Oblivion so good is they really capture the immersion, which is what a lot of players get. When you hop on an RPG, you don't want to feel like you're playing an RPG. You want to feel like you are in the game.
Yeah, you are the hero. You are the protagonist.
Exactly. And everybody plays it different. Some people like me, my character, if I'm playing an RPG, it has to be somewhere near my name. I like it to be my name because I like to role play and pretend that I'm that character. And some people can do it with different names. You make up a name that makes no sense or that's lore friendly or it goes in with the time, and it allows everybody to play it as they want. And I feel like just at a core level, this game really succeeds at that, as well as looking just beautiful. This is the best. Find a better looking MMO than this. I challenge you. If you can find it, I'd be really excited. But this is just the most gorgeous looking game I've played in this style. And a lot of people can, oh yeah, well Skyrim with mods, it looks gorgeous. Well, that's because Skyrim with mods.
It's single player is a complete different aspect to an MMO. Exactly. There's so many more things to take into account for balance and stability and the overall kind of people's PCs they're going to be using. Everything, because I think this can like a low-end laptop can actually run this game sort of thing. You don't need to have a super, even though it is a fantastic looking game. But what I've been a bit annoyed at was obviously ZeniMax made a huge effort to add on the first person sort of role to it, because obviously there's a huge player demand for, because it's Elder Scrolls, but it's completely not, you can't use it because you will die.
It's nauseating.
Not that, it's just like you can't see yourself. Like I made a video of me doing a first person thing, and you can't, it's not actually useful because you can't see everything going on in dungeons. You've got no view. You've got your first person view, and it's obviously not going to help when there's mobs running all around doing big AoE damage on the floor. You can't see exactly how big that circle is looking through your own eyes. You need to have a magical camera following your character to be able to see. So that's the only shame. It's like, yeah, ZeniMax did a fantastic job listening to the audience, adding it on, but then obviously you just can't use it because it's an MMO and there's more shit going on than there is in a normal game. To be able to,
yeah.
I loved being first person, always in Skyrim. Always first person.
I played Skyrim pretty much solely in first person. But one of the things though is Skyrim had a better field of view for first person. I feel like it's too. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 60 for the FOV in first person, which you can't see anything. And the easiest thing they can do to fix that, because I want to be able to play in first person, like when I don't want to try hard and I'm not power leveling, I'm not running a dungeon. If I'm just doing a quest around the town, I want to be able to hop into first person and just, you know, have a little fun. And I think that all they need to do is just put an FOV slider in it. I think it's scheduled to come in actually next week.
Oh, really?
But the fact that it took them, yeah, I think the 20-something, the next actual update is going to add it, supposedly, that they've announced this on their website.
They probably will then. That's good.
So yeah, which is awesome. Which is something that I don't know why it wasn't in launch. Because every game that has a first person, especially on PC, not console, every game that launches on PC, it's like kind of a rule of thumb to have an FOV slider. Like I dare you to launch an FPS on PC and then not have an FOV slider and get a decent amount of community support. It's not going to happen. And the same goes for any game. Skyrim had an FOV slider at launch. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember when I played Skyrim on PC, it had an FOV slider. So when I wanted to go into first person, I bumped it up to 85 or 90, and I walked around and I could see what I wanted to see. So that I feel like with the additive of that, I think that'll make a lot of the players that came over from the regular single-player games a lot happier. And I think that if they would have done that from the beginning, I feel like they wouldn't have lost. Because I've talked to a couple people that have unsubscribed that have canceled their subscription from this game because they're like, oh, first person, it's garbage. And my friend is one of them who I played with all the time. And the reason I got this game, because at first when I played the beta, I wasn't too thrilled with the game. But then again, I was like, oh, hey, it's the beta.
Yeah, of course, a lot's to change. So, the first month was all over the spot with a lot of bugs. Like, I've seen 1,000 bugs, but so much of it's been fixed. They've done a fantastic job with adjusting a lot of things. Obviously, there's been a lot of maintenances and there's been a good few patches. So the game's fucking come leaps and bounds from the release. So I think they've done a great job. They're a very good company, I think, ZeniMax, for its part.
I agree, and a lot of people think that that Bethesda did this game. That's something that kind of bugs me every once in a while. But no, I think ZeniMax did a wonderful job because they were developing this at the same time that in unison with Bethesda developing Skyrim.
Yeah.
And
yeah, because it's been in 6 years development this on it, I think. Yeah.
They had to make a ton of changes to make the core players from the single player games happy to fit in with an MMO, which I have no complaints because, like I said, I'm a RPG player. I don't really play MMOs, and I really feel like they succeeded at that. So I give mad props to ZeniMax. So
what I was thinking, like, I used to play a game called Darkfall, and when you either do magic or archery, it forced you to go first person. You had no choice. And then when you went back to melee, you go third person. I always thought that'd be interesting if you were forced to do that with this. Just because, like, if you're aiming a bow, you should be like aiming it, like, cause otherwise there's no skill involved if you're not physically aiming it. Because I don't like a lot of things on this are very auto aimed. Yeah, if you ever fought a boss and they fire a spell, you run behind a rock, that spell will go through the rock, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, say you've got no health, and you're trying to fucking run away to get your stats up or whatever. You're trying to use the environment for a shield, but no. Everything flies through it, and I find that really annoying. That's something like even Skyrim and that had the, you know, you fire a fire spell, it will go straight. It'll go straight where you aimed it, and you know if it fucking hit a pipe, it'll explode on the pipe, sort of thing. But this things fly through things, and it's highly annoying. I'm currently just tapping a skull and flying up into the mountain, but I don't understand why. I can't remember what I was meant to do. Oh, that's what I meant to do. I meant to fly up and get a chest. That's it.
Oh, I think I've done that quest, and you have to you do the skull and you have to find someone on a rock or something like that.
Yeah, this is no. Where am I? I'm in Morrowind. I'm currently in Dashan on the Ebonheart Pact. So I am.
You know the Ebonheart Pact. Once again, talking bad about it. My first character I got to like level 12 or 13 on the Ebonheart Pact. I thought it was so boring. I think the Daggerfall Covenant is the best. I haven't done much into the what's it called? The other one, the one with the high L's.
The other alliance is the Aldemiri Dominion.
The Aldemiri Dominion. I haven't done much with that, but actually I think it looks really nice. And I've just picked up like 7 or 8 straight aspect runes. That's pretty nice and convenient.
That's the shit you want.
Yeah. I think that if you want to play this game for the first time, the way to go is definitely the Daggerfall Covenant. I think I don't know how you feel on this.
Well, actually, saying that, I've made videos fully reviewing each zone, like, you know, each zone and each alliance kind of thing, because I did like start, you know, basically where you so you imagine the Ebonheart, you start obviously on your little island Bleak Rock, then you go to Stone Falls and then Dashin. But what I did in the video is I talk about that zone, then move to the next zone, and basically I did a full review of what's the most varied, interesting, and it ended up being Aldemiri was the most boring alliance ever, because like three to 4 zones is just forest. They're all exactly the same, just forest, thicker, darker forest, thicker, darker forest, then bit of forest and like open sand for Reaper's March kind of thing. But Daggerfall was fantastic because obviously you start with Glenumbra, it's nice like meadowy kind of place. Then you go up to River Spine, it's all the undead. You know, completely different, all undead. Then again, it would go to like sort of nice meadowy thing in Stormhaven with a bit of the undead. Then it would go to Bankarok and Alkia Desert, and it was just like, you know, like just starts going mad desert. Alkia Desert was hugely different, and even Ebonheart is hugely different because obviously you've got the Morrowind, then it slowly heads to the Skyrim bit, then it goes down to the Black Marsh kind of thing in Shadowfen. So that's hugely different. So it keeps it interesting, but that's the problem with the Aldemir Dominion, that they were all so similar, and it just made it like a dull fucking chore to having to see the same environment after you just spent like a few days or even a whole week in that zone, depending how long it takes you just to move to a similar looking zone. It's like, for fuck's sake.
Did you skip the beginning islands on the Daggerfall Covenant?
No, I do everything, me. I like, you should see my Templar, man. I've done fucking like, so much shit with him. It's unbelievable. I've done like 1,000 quests. I get the achievements for uncovering everything in the zone. Then I move over to the next. Like my Templar was fucking all over it, and I did all 3 alliances, and did everything I could. I'm a very busy guy with that one.
Because I really liked the beginning island for the Daggerfall Covenant, Stros Mackay. I thought that was a really good starter island, especially because I had just finished doing the Ebonheart Pact one. And the Ebonheart Pact, it was so boring. Like for some reason I just did not like it.
What these? And, sort of Skyrim-y styled because it's in Skyrim.
See, that's why I did it, because I was like, oh, I love Skyrim. I want to continue in the same relative world as Skyrim.
You want to stay in somewhere you're recognized.
Yeah, exactly. And I did not like it. I was not a fan. I just got so bored when I end up going back, because I'm gonna make another character probably in that Covenant, and I'm gonna just fast forward through everything, because there was nothing that really like tickled my fancy, for lack of better terms.
Now, the easiest way is just like watch YouTube at the same time as like you're just doing all the minor quests till you do dungeons. But I think a good thing we should move on to is dungeon experiences. Will be another good topic to move on to. But definitely, if there's anything you want to say to round up your thoughts of your gameplay so far.
Of my thoughts of the gameplay so far, I really enjoy it. That's all I can say is I think this game is really good. Sometimes it gets a little boring. I feel like some of the packs aren't as fun as the others. But besides that, as long as you find a pack you like, I feel like you're not gonna have a bad experience. That's, if I could sum it up, that would be it.
Well, yeah, I think it's also a good thing to start with the most boring pact. Then, because you know from then you move to a better alliance and a better alliance, and as you go up, because obviously by the time you finish one alliance, you're level 50 or veteran 1. By the time you finish the second alliance, you're veteran rank 5, and by the time you finish the third alliance, you're veteran rank 10. So you're basically just doing exactly the same, but it just gets harder and harder. So it's always best to like get the shittest alliance out of the way. That's what I've been doing now, and then you got better ones to look forward to, kind of things. That's always something to, if you're planning to power level through the whole game, is just fucking get rid of the shittest area, Aldemir Dominion, and then you got the nicer ones to look forward to. But if you just want to start the game and have a look what it's like, fucking play as a sorcerer and go to either Daggerfall or Ebonheart for the nicer varied stages.
What's your favorite pact?
I think it has to definitely be Daggerfall, because I really love going from Glenumbra to Rivenspire. It's just a valley of the dead. It's all dry, desolate, zombies, vampires, werewolves. It's a phenomenal area. Yeah, and then it goes nice again and fucking all sandy and shit. It just, and even Alkir Desert looks great. I thought, oh, deserts are gonna be fucking boring. Yeah, open space, nothing there. But Jesus, it's the coolest looking dungeon I've seen. It's the coolest looking desert I've seen, man. It's amazing. So many cool relics, ruins, and huge ass like temple things like kicking about in the desert. It's like, whoa, that's a hell of a sight. You know, I just wanted to like record just like one huge temple, around. And it was just like, well, this looks amazing. But I stuck it in the video of when I did the review of the area kind of thing, and it's fucking nice, man. Honestly, that's if anything, yeah, Daggerfall's definitely got the prettiest and most like varied areas to see. Well, that's my thoughts.
I would agree. So, and I actually, from what I briefly played in the Aldemir Dominion, I really liked it. So, but I'm only on the first what's it called? Right after you do the opening island, the first city you're in. I'm only on the first land.
Yeah, Glenumbra is the
little mini country. Oh, it's Glenumbra?
Yeah, well, zoom out, go onto your map and right click, and then you can hover over the zone. It goes Glenumbra, because you got your Stros Mackay, then Becknith,
the work island.
I can't, yeah, and then Glenumbra, yeah, then Glenumbra's the big first zone. So you got 2 starter islands, get them done in a couple hours, and then you can
easy.
Blast
but I was talking about the Aldemir Dominion. What's the name of the first, right after you do the starting?
Kinnerus Root.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, that's as far as I am in that. So that's why I can't say that I've seen it. Everything's like they're really similar to when you move on. So because I'm only on the first land.
Okay, so like I say, I'd like to move on to a few dungeons. So I want to ask you. I got a few questions I want to ask for your experiences with dungeons. So obviously, because this is like one of your first like MMOs you've really played, kind of thing. So obviously, you always hear a lot about other MMOs, like dungeons are always the main, like quite a big feature and things. Like how have you experienced the dungeons in this game so far?
I'm gonna be honest with you. The first dungeon I did, which was the Spindo Clutch, yeah. I didn't really like it, but when I started playing more dungeons, and because like I said, I came from an RPG. I'm really liking the dungeons. I like that they're a little challenging. I don't like the game to be totally easy. Yeah. I like to have to, when you get into a big fight, somebody, at least if one person's not gonna need to be resurrected, or if one person's not gonna die, and it comes down to the last second, I feel like it's too easy. Because I really like it. It takes the game, which is normally sit back, relax, and kind of enjoy the world, to holy crap, like this is a little bit competitive now. It may be an RPG, but there's some competition here. You might lose, and if you succeed, you normally get some pretty good loot. And I don't know, I think I like the teamwork aspect of it. It just, because I'm a console FPS guy a lot of times, and I always like working with other people and for a common goal. And so like at first I wasn't really interactive. I just kind of sat there, didn't type anything in the chat, I went over there and I tanked. And once I really started to try and get into it, I really think the dungeons are pretty good. And I played 5, I think, to this point, and I've beaten most of them 2 or 3 times just because I wanted to get more loot.
Yeah, a bit more loot in the experience.
Yeah. So yeah, as a completely noob to dungeons and MMOs, I really think that they did a good job. I don't know if you have a varying opinion, but
like, did you feel like they were big enough? Like for your first, your first dungeons are level 15 dungeons. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. It's Spindle Clutch. What is it? Let me see. Zoom out. It's Spindle Clutch, Banished Cells, and Fungal Grotto is the first 3 dungeons at level 15, and obviously they set them there. So basically, you kind of don't have anything as your second weapon skill yet. And yeah, so you're very limited. Even if you want to be a certain role, you're not fully prepared as it. Because what everyone's kind of noticed at the moment is it's so hard to get a tank. Tank's the hardest thing in the party search to get.
Yeah, that's why I built my character to a tank, because originally my guy was just some random mashup of skills, and then I heavily invested in one hand and shield and health, and so that's I feel like healers and tanks are always the ones that are hardest to find. Everybody and their mother is a DPS. It feels like.
Yeah, of course. So. That's why when I did my Templar, I thought, right, I know what is hard to get. So when I went Sorcerer, I made sure my Sorcerer was going to be the healer in dungeons. Excuse me, because there's enough people doing DPS, and if you watch any of my healer videos of the dungeons, fucking no one dies, and I never died. I become a really good healer, but I knew that was the hardest thing, so I made sure he had the tits heal skills. And even with my Dragon Knight, even though I just want him to have a 2-handed sword and become the ultimate beast, I'm just solely leveling up sword and board for dungeons only, and that's something I would recommend, just because it saves the huge hassle. Even if you want, because in this game there's about just shy of 300 skill points, or even more now because of Craglorn. There's about 300 skill points you can get via quests and Sky Shards and I class them as quests actually. Harbinger? What are they fucking called that? The Harborage. That's it. Yeah, a Harbinger. I don't even know what the hell I was trying to say, but yeah, there's about 300 skill points to get. So I would recommend you have your sword and your bow, and then obviously chuck someone your sword and shield, get the taunt, get a few of the a chance to be a better defense, where it blocks all projectiles as well as spells and shit like that. But I think how they've done the dungeons, I think they're really good. They're all challenging. Veteran, it gets very hard. It's a huge jump up. You try and do as soon as you become a veteran, you have the chance to do veteran dungeons 1 to 5. It is veteran 1 to 5 sort of dungeon, and fucking the amount of people that try it at veteran 1 and they're there with the level 44 gear or 48 gear, not blue or anything like that, and it's like, Jesus Christ, they're not ready for it. I recommend if you become a veteran, don't even bother with the dungeon till you're at least veteran rank 3 or 4 with gear around that tier as well, because you're just becoming a liability to your party. But I think it's really, really good, the dungeons. I very much enjoy these, because I did play a lot of Terror. I don't know if anyone's ever played Terror, but that game also looked fantastic, and it was really damn good. But Jesus Christ, the dungeons got very boring. I got 2 level 50 characters, and also, which is max level in that game, and one that was level 35 or something. And the amount of times I fell asleep playing the dungeons, I'm not even taking the piss, man. If I was recording back then, I was sort of tanking, and I started getting noddy in that, because it was not fun. But this game is so, you've really got to think and see what's going on, because everything's not point and click. It's, you've got to aim, you've got to turn, you've got to block. It's actual, there's something that's powering up an attack, you block it, and then they'll be off guard, and then you've got the chance to knock them down. So it's very, very good, because it keeps you more on your toes, because you get the openings. It's not just click, click, click like WoW or something, where click, 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 dead. Yeah, you've actually got bit of challenge. You've got to see the movement, see what's coming, and same with bosses. You see the big things that are coming. You get the big AoEs on the ground. You got to run out of it. Boom! It misses you. Run back in. So it's really exciting. Obviously, for an MMO, it can't compare to single player kind of combat, but at least it's not super boring. At least you're having to actually do something rather than setting a macro on all your hot bound keys kind of thing and just like letting them do the work. At least this, you've got to take charge and take, you know, actually do things. And the sheer fact that a lot of your skills all come from either magic or stamina, and you can't use a lot of them before you run out of your stats, really keeps you thinking like what's good to use at this time. So it does make it good because it does make it challenging, and all the dungeons are very different. That's what I like.
Hold on, I apologize.
Yeah, no worries.
What?
I need Dallas's keys. Come on, take
Okay.
Yeah, I leveled up. I thought he's gonna take your door out. It's like douche, douche, douche.
The one thing I say, hey, don't bother me for a little bit. It may bother me. No worries.
That's how it
Where
goes.
were we? I apologize.
Yeah, I talked like obviously throughout the dungeons. I think I'll quickly mention about the things I found good in the dungeons and what was bad in the dungeons. Like up until one of the later patches, obviously when you're in the veteran dungeons, you find chests that were still level, you know, say you do your banished cells level 15. Them chests, when you open them, will have level 15 gear in it, even though you're doing it like veteran 4 in the veteran mode. So I always thought
Really?
that, yeah. But now they've done a patch where there's 2 chests in the dungeon somewhere, always randomly moved. Yeah, there's no fixed location, so that's better. But they should have increased the loot because they're really hard to find, but the loot's still just as crappy as they are in normal chests. And that's, I don't know. I don't know if that's good or bad. How crap the loot is in maps. Like, you know, when you go dig up a map, it's guaranteed your loot's going to be just as crap as it is in normal chests.
Really? I thought that you had better loot when you did the treasure maps.
Barely, really. Like, have you dug one up?
Yeah, and I got 2 really good pieces of armor, which obviously I deconstructed, and I got like 70 gold and like a couple of glyphs.
Usually, yeah, well, that's probably the equivalent of like like either immediate, that's it. Probably an advanced or a master chest sort of thing. So obviously you get different tier chests. But I do like and I do like the fact that only one person can open it and then the chest vanishes. I do like that because it's kind of trolly. Because the amount of people, because I'm really good with the chest. I've opened fucking hundreds and hundreds, so I can do like the master chests like in fucking like 5 seconds sort of thing. And then you get people stood behind you at the chest, like waiting for you to fail. And because because I do it with people as well. I wait. I see, oh good, he's at a high chest. I know he's gonna fuck it up. And they do, and they can't go back on it for like 10 seconds, so you get the chance to go on it and take it. So I find that quite comical.
Yeah, I've actually never broken a lockpick. I had a point where I had like 370 lockpicks just destroying my inventory.
Yeah, you should get rid of it.
I had to dump them all. I thought that I think it's too easy to open the chest in this game. I've never had a problem with it. So
yeah. You might have a point there. It is fucking, like you're saying, master chests aren't exactly any difficult. It's just a bit quicker, but it's not fucking hard.
Yeah, they give you like what, 10 seconds to do it?
Yeah, so I think probably longer than that, but it's definitely something that the difficulty of things like that. There should be more things than just that kind of lot. Because if you've got a normal pirate's treasure chest, that should have that kind of lot. But then you go into like a ruins and like a Dwemer ruins, and it should have like a Dwemer style chest, which has a different style lock. Because why should locks be the same kind of thing for different like times and different eras? Locks should be either like the twist lock, how they had in Skyrim, or they should be the barrel style lock like they have now. You know, different styles, so it tests you a bit more, so you never know what's coming. So it's something a bit more interesting maybe. But actually, a good thing I want to talk about is how much have you been improving your backpack and your guild, like your actual bank, and the price jump?
That's actually a good call. And actually, you helped me out a bit on that. I watched one of your videos
Yeah.
on making extra characters, and I think I have like 4 extra characters who are just dedicated to bank space.
Yeah,
because
fuck me.
I think I have 100 bank spaces, and right now in my inventory I have 95 inventory for my my main guy. So, and I spent like probably 30-40 grand at least just in bank space so far, and then probably 10 to 15 grand in inventory space. So yeah, the way to do it is just to make a couple extra characters and organize them. I have one for my food crafting. I have one for my raw materials that are really low level, and then I have one that just has just random crap that I want to keep for God knows what reason. And
yeah,
and so I just put it in that. So
definitely,
yeah,
definitely is unbelievable the price jump when you're upgrading something. It becomes stupidly expensive. I mean, I just get my characters now to its own 100 bank space because that costs, I think it costs up to about 8-9 grand or something, or 11 grand, and you got like 100 space. And then after that I just chuck everything, because if you leave it at just the 60, it fills up so quick, like ridiculously quick.
Yeah, I don't understand why they limit the bank space. That's one thing I don't understand, is why that's what's so important, what's so yeah, how can you be a lot better of a player, and how can you abuse something if you have more bank space? That I don't understand. And I'm also a little upset that they didn't tie in the bank space or the inventory space with stamina to a point, like your own stamina.
Because that's what it usually is. It's like a strength trait or and it's usually tied directly to that. That's a good point. That's how it usually is in the other Elder Scrolls game. They're directly tied to how strong your dude is, to how much he can lift. How much can you lift, bro?
Not enough. Holy crap! I got like 15 items from a harpy. That was ridiculous.
But I tell you, one thing to delete immediately is all trophies. Like, yeah, I collected trophies with my first character. I end up with like 30 trophies or something like that. And you literally have no need for them. And they just become a huge bank waster kind of thing. But obviously they need... because
what do you mean by trophies?
You know, when you kill... let me see if I've got any trophies. Like, look in your... miscellaneous. Yeah, look in your miscellaneous and hover over things, and you might see something saying trophies. From like a quest, or it'll be in your bank somewhere, and you'll have something, and it'll say trophy, and it's literally there for nothing. You can click on it, it'll do some kind of animation, or it'll do something, but that's all it's used for. It's just like a little like thing to say that you've done this quest, but you don't need them, and you just delete them, because fuck me, they waste so much space. It's unbelievable. But
yeah, I did that with the pets. At first, I don't ever use the pets. I have like 4 of them because I played the beta, because I pre-ordered, because I don't even know how I ended up with so many freaking pets in this game. But I had them in my inventory, and I was just like, why am I wasting 4 slots on this?
Yeah, it's like 2 mud crabs, a monkey, and a little imp thing in it.
Yeah, I have all of the dragon, the monkey. I have an excess of pets. So if anybody would like to adopt a pet, you know,
yeah,
the price is
fucking
right.
get rid of them. I always have my mud crab following me around on my Templar, but since then I just can't be asked.
Oh, and the mud crab. I have the mud crab too. Jeez, I have way too. Yeah. So I think I have 4 pets that are just sitting on some random character that I have no need for. So I have pets. I don't know why I don't just delete them. I feel like I don't want to delete them just because I know I got them for like playing the beta, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's all it is, to show like the only good thing is you got your Imperial horse, which Jesus Christ, that I like. Obviously there needs to be gold sinks in every MMO. There has to be gold sinks. Obviously there's nothing you need to buy in this game ever. There's the backpack and bank space is the only thing you can really have to invest your money in, because when it comes to mats and everything like that, you can get all that for free just by deconstructing. And obviously horses, 42,000 for a fucking horse that's got 10 more stats
so ridiculous.
than your 17.
So
yeah, and it's got 10 more stats than the 17,000 like gold horse. And it's like, that is not worth 42,000, because it takes you about 2 months of playing to get 42,000 gold. Like, and fuck me, it's not worth it.
I think the most gold I've ever had was like 22,000, and then I went on some random spending spree because I wanted to upgrade my smithing. So I just bought like stacks on stacks on stacks of like auriculum ore, and then like 2 minutes later I was broke.
and I, honestly, that's why I made one of them videos to say Like, yeah, how to max all your crafting without, and gain every mat in the game. And it's just literally fucking take your time and just deconstruct, because there's no point in super power leveling up your crafting, because you can only make what your level is, kind of thing. You can't wear anything above what your level is. So just deconstruct it, and it'll just be as you are, and it'll hit level 50, and then you can make the best shit. And chances are you can't even wear the best shit by the time it's 50 anyway. So do not rush it. Do not buy things. Do not buy hundreds and hundreds of ingots to make all this, to deconstruct it. Because, Jesus, you can just get that by playing, questing, fucking mobs will drop the gear, and you just deconstruct it, and it'll just level fine. Plus, you'll get mats, and you're not spent anything. Or you can sell the shit that you don't want to other idiots that want to buy all the ore.
Yeah, see, my blacksmithing right now is a level 19, and there's no point in upgrading my metalworking. I have 3 out of 9. But I'm only level 28, and I think that Auriculum goes to 30. So at first I thought that the leveling system was really whack for blacksmithing. I thought that it was like, if I'm a level 19 in blacksmithing, I should be a level 19 in the actual game. But in reality, I didn't take into consideration the veteran rank, because that's an extra 10 levels, and now 12. That you have to cover, and you're gonna level up to 50 if you're doing deconstructing. You'll level up to 50 by the time you're veteran rank 2 if you're really sticking to it.
Well,
and if you really want to power through it, you should be there before the veteran rank. So at first I thought it was a little overwhelming. I thought that it didn't level up fast enough, but when I realized that there was more than 50 levels on the actual character, and that if you're level 15 in smithing, you can make level 30 gear. So it really, I feel like that was just a bad complaint of mine, and that I think it is where it should be as far as that. And
yeah,
I don't know.
It's
I like
perfect. I think. Yeah, the crafting is easy, and it's fucking easy to level. It's free to level, and it's all balanced well. Because obviously, like I say, even if you fucking got it 50, you won't be able to wear the gear yet. Sort of thing.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. What's the point of crafting level 45 gear if you're level 10? Like, I don't understand. Like, there's no point.
But
so
I think it's also, like, in terms of there's a lot of skill points to invest in the crafting. That's another thing to take in consideration, because if it's your first character, like when I was doing my Templar, you've got all your weapons, your classes, your racial, plus all your crafting abilities. So you've really got to think, even if you're leveling your crafting up very well, you've got fucking like a bajillion things to place on, like skill points to place on your metalworking. There's 9 alone for metalworking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually 8 because it comes with 1, but it's a lot of shit. So that's kind of things you need to take in consideration. Like, you want a lot of things. You want your hirelings, you want your aspect, you want your extraction, so you can get the better kind of things when you deconstruct something. But it's good because you've got to choose. You got to think, I really want this skill, but I really want to get this, and it's fucking So the crafting is very good because there's a lot of stuff you got to invest into it to make it actually viable.
Mm-hmm. And if you have multiple characters and you have one character set to crafting, I think you're good. That's something we were talking about yesterday, is that your first character, make that the one you grind with, because if you only specialize in one thing on your first character, like if you just want to do heavy armor, and you sit here and you're wasting time researching for 7 days at a time for heavy armor, why don't you just do everything at the same time? I have light armor, medium armor, woodworking, all researching at the same time. So when I make my second character, I don't have to wait 7 days again. I can just hop onto this guy, make him some gear, and put it back onto my second character or my third character. So
no, that's
definitely something.
Good point. Yeah, definitely, because it'll save you. Because like saying, we were talking way early on in the video that it takes fucking like forever days to get a lot of traits research. So if you obviously by the time you've done your first character, and say he's like become the master crafter, when you moved on to your second character, it's just whatever you get, just stick it all in the bank, and then get your main out, pull all the stuff out, see if you can research it, see if you can deconstruct stuff, and then you can just make your second guy his gear with the better traits on, so that way you can save all the skill points, all the deconstructing. Your main guy can do that, and it'll save you a lot of fucking about having to redo the exact same things. Plus you can carry on researching to try and get all maxed out gear, because like I say, it takes like half a year to get a full set fucking eight traits, and you'll never spend half a year on one character. If you do, that's fucking serious dedication on that character.
Yeah, for real. That's a lot.
But how do you think for the longevity of this game, like how do you think it's going to go? Obviously, a lot of people say about the free to play, or do you think this game's got good enough? Like, is ZeniMax good enough for the updates and upgrades to keep people paying and happy with everything they're doing so far with the fixes and stuff?
Well, I think that the game will eventually be free to play, but I don't think it'll be in the next year. I think in 2 years maybe. I think when they have a ton of updates, they'll have the initial purchase fee, and I think they should be fine with that. And I think that it'll be free to play, but I don't think right now it should be. I think that with as much as they're updating, as much as they're fixing, and the time they're putting into it, that I have no problem paying the initial $60 for it, and then my monthly subscription fee. I think that it's well merited right now because the game is still being fixed, and you're getting, whereas other MMOs like World of Warcraft, if you buy the game, you have to buy all the expansions. This game, the expansions come with it, and they're constantly. I feel like as long as they're putting in the work and they're upgrading it constantly and making sure things are working correctly, that the subscription fee should cover everything. And I think they're doing a good job with that because, like, they added Craglorn. They're going to add another expansion here soon, and it's all going to be included. You don't have to buy it in addition to the game. And that's one thing I really like, because I hate these. You pay a monthly subscription fee, you buy the game, and then you have to buy the DLC. Like, that's just too much. Like, I'm gonna be broke by the time that this game gets to be 2 years old. And like, I really feel like if you're gonna do a game, do it right and use the monthly subscription fee to make your game better. And they're definitely doing that.
Yeah, that's a good point about the expansions, because you think the game was out 2 months and then it got Craglorn expansion already. You know, it weren't even out that long, and you can see on the map when you come out, you can actually see they save so much free space for extra add-ons. There's at least 10 more zones they can put on, at least, and that's obviously their plans. That they show all the islands and they show the whole map as it is, so you can sort of semi-guess what's going to be there, how big things are going to be, and you know, so they will keep pushing. And I do assume each zone will be an extra 2 veteran ranks sort of thing, so it's not so much of a huge level jump, like an extra 10 levels and it's fucking like a forever grind. It's just like something else to fucking add on and chip away at. So that's why I think they're just doing sort of semi-small zones, just so it's regular without a huge break, so it justifies obviously the amount of fixes, the content they're sorting out for everyone, trying to get, because there were so many bugs to start with the game. And if you actually look at the first month, how many patches they did, it was fantastic. You know, they fixed so much shit, and the sheer fact that they managed to do all that and keep the server stable with these mega servers. Obviously, this is like the first game that's really done the mega servers, and it's been so stable, like never any ups and downs really. And I'm in Australia on the European server, for Christ's sake, and the fact they put on a Craglorn expansion with a whole different variation of like difficulty, dungeons, extra sort of ideas and thoughts gone into it. So it's got a lot of longevity in this game. There's a huge thing that they're going to do, just because you can tell at the map they are going to fill that all eventually. And that's
the crazy thing. This is a huge world, and at first, they've already added Craglorn, and I think that's the only thing they've added so far, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So yeah, and just to look, like the East March and the Rift is what Skyrim almost was. It's still a little bigger than Skyrim, and that game was huge. And then to look and you see Cyrodiil's massive, and then everything else. I don't know. I really enjoy what they're doing with the game so far. So I have no complaints as far as that. The only problem I have is sometimes the little the easy quest, the ones you do just to make a couple gold, or just to do something stupid to keep you busy, they get a little boring. But there's no way to really make that any better, because you know how many stories you'd have to write to make all the little miscellaneous quests like interesting. So that's an empty complaint in my opinion. So
like saying, the one thing I like about this is because there's so much lore to back everything up. It helps make the whole world much more like, makes more sense of why this is here. And just because there's hardly anything that backs up how much lore there is to any kind of franchise, and Elder Scrolls seems to have more lore. Like if you didn't know about it, if you go to I think it's the Imperial Library, and that has like everything, every lore-based thing about Elder Scrolls, and fuck me, you could be there for like a year trying to read up everything. It covers everything, and lore is one of the most thankless jobs that anyone has to do for a game, like, because like people expect it but don't really appreciate it as much. And there's over all the years, they fucking got so much crazy lore about everything, and it helps make the world feel alive. There's a reason for this to be there. There's a reason for these like bosses to be kicking off. There's a reason for everything going on, because of everything sort of dates back to what era, and sort of trying to mix it all up. So yeah, I think there's a lot of longevity to this, because they've got the whole world, they've got the lore for it, and they've got the fan base for it, and I think it's worth every penny. I mean, I think, is it $15 a month? So that means English money is like £8-9 a month sort of thing. So I think it's worth that for 30 days of play.
Oh, is it? It's only like £9 for you, or
yeah,
£9?
Because it's like 60p to the dollar or something like that. So
yeah, no,
it's roughly like £8-9 a month. So that's like buying a sandwich and a Coke kind of thing or something. So it's worth that for 30 days play.
That's an expensive sandwich.
It's a triple meal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is actually actually a McDonald's. Then it's the same as buying a McDonald's.
Is McDonald's that expensive over there?
Depends what you get in.
Gee, yeah, but $15 at McDonald's in America, that buys you the entire menu.
That's why you got the obesity crisis.
Yeah, that's why we're so fat over here, man.
gotta stick to the stereotype.
You know they have what people actually use to measure how currency is like doing, and the differences in currency. It's called the Big Mac Index. It's what the Wall Street Journal and a lot of other big financial companies and across the world use to measure how currency is doing, is how much a Big Mac costs in each individual country. It's legit. Google it. It's called the Big Mac Index. It's pretty crazy. Just to get off topic for a second, but it's hilarious that they have the price of a Big Mac in like 400 different places, and that's how they measure how currency is doing versus each other. I think it's really funny.
I'm going to Google that later. That just sounds generally interesting.
I kid you not. I learned about that in my marketing class. I was pretty dumbfounded to see that I thought it was a joke. The Big Mac Index is a real thing and it's respected. So that's kind of funny to play on the stereotype.
I am actually generally going to Google that later. But is there any other subjects you think you're talking about before I think we should be wrapping this episode up. Like we'll split this up into a couple because I'm gonna
edit this down a bunch probably because there was into little segments. So
yeah.
I mean, I have a couple things that I wrote down, and I pretty much covered them all. So I'm pretty much going. I'm getting hit in the back here by a spider, but
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. I get so sidetracked when I talk, so I can't talk and play very well at the same time. I can only attempt to do one. So
that's proper male. That's what that is.
Yeah, I can't multitask. I get really that's one of my problems when I do Let's Plays too. Like I can't. Holy crap, that was a sweet little loot there. But yeah, I have problems talking fluidly and playing well at the same time. So sometimes I get a little stupid. But
yeah, so
I'm good.
Yeah.
If you wanna end it here and then we can edit it up.
Then we can split it into four segments. It's gonna be the perfect hour. So we can split it into 15-minute segments. Yeah, because I think next time we'll talk about character classes, perks, passives, and we'll go more into the skills and stuff like that. Skills, perks, everything like that.
Yeah, what we did right now was kind of more of just a freestyle per se, of just talking about the game. We didn't really have a really specific structure for this first little chat.
Yeah, it's more just our experiences and thoughts.
Yeah, and so we might have to make certain parts longer and certain parts shorter. So I don't know. I think it'll work out, and I'll edit it up. I don't know if you're going to use just the straight footage, but I'm probably going to cut it down into little segments on what I think is the most important and such. So
now I'm just gonna what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna split into 4 and just call it part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4.
Fair enough. So if you want to watch the full conversations, you can head over to his channel. If not, check it out anyway. It's worth a subscribe. He's got a bunch of cool things, especially if you're into MMOs and especially ESO and Pokemon and all that stuff. So check out his channel, And I guess that'll be the first sort of chat that we have. Thoughts on ESO episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much. And I'll look forward to our next conversation. So thank you guys for listening as well. And I'll see you all on the next one. Definitely.
Yeah. Take it easy.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
All right.